Hello, everyone, and welcome to another News Coolum video and an untraditional plug side chat. So I'm here next to the Electrify America site in Dunnigan. It's sort of a site that I've been fixated on because it has two 350 kilowatt chargers and 250 kilowatt chargers, and just this site alone is going to represent close to a 20 to 30 minute time savings for me in my regular trips up to Northern California. And the reason for that is twofold. One, it's faster than the other 125 amp chargers that are available along that route in this region, but also its location in regards to my trip. So I have to make sort of awkward stops in order to complete my 500-mile trip right now. Because the way the chargers are distributed, I have a good spread through Southern California and then up to Sacramento. But from Sacramento north, there really isn't a whole lot of anything. So I have to make something of a longer leg, and I end up having to make a third charging stop way earlier than I would normally have to make it, or way earlier than what's, ideal for that 500-mile trip, which is one of the reasons why it does take me about 9.5 to 10 hours to go 500 miles. But this charging site is going to change that. But that's not what I wanted to talk about here. What I wanted to talk about in this plug side chat is, to use Electrify America's words, the onerous permitting process and costs that they're facing for their California charger implementations. I think that that's something that we need to be doing better at. Now, I know California likes to make the claim that they're, the pioneers in terms of EV adoption. And I think, honestly, I think most of that credit actually has to go to Tesla, not to California. Because if anything, California might have been more of an impediment to it in terms of, I know that in terms of California's bureaucracy and in terms of their permitting processes, in terms of their vetting processes, they can be onerous, right? And so here we are at a site, a couple of days before the new year, where most of the hardware had been installed when I visited on Thanksgiving week. That means that it's taken 5-6 weeks for Electrify America to get the permits approved to turn this site on. That's not acceptable. And if you're looking at improving and encouraging electric vehicle adoption as a state, we need to streamline this. And I would go so far as, I think we need to waive all permitting fees required for public DC fast charging installations. So for the public charging infrastructure that most of us rely on, yeah, definitely no permitting fees. And then for Tesla, even though it's a private network that they're keeping closed off to the public, they should also have their fees waived. And I don't know what it would take in terms of getting that passed through in California. And obviously, I think other states should apply a similar thing where, look, this is a public service that these companies are doing. We need to streamline this process. Now, obviously, we still need all of the same due diligence. We need the same, rigor when it comes to vetting and inspections. But more than anything else, what we need is these chargers to be able to go online quickly and in budget. And this has been an issue not just for Electrify America. Like I said, it's also Tesla, but we're seeing this with sites that are literally being built with California taxpayer money through the CEC grant, where, Recargo had several weeks to get their grid-tie battery system inverter approved before they could fully open their site in Prunedale. We see a number of these CEC grant sites from ChargePoint where the hardware is installed and it's weeks and sometimes months before we actually see those chargers go online. That is not acceptable, and there is absolutely no reason that this charger shouldn't have been online for the week that I came up for Christmas if not definitely up and online by today. Now, to be fair, if everything goes according to plan, I think this site should be open in the next week or so. But Electrify America is way behind in California, despite the fact that they have basically half of their funds going to building infrastructure in California. California is behind most of the rest of the country. How is it right now that Nebraska has more functioning Electrify America charger sites than California does? That makes no sense. So I think maybe it's something we do need to reach out to our state politicians and representatives and say, hey, get your butts in gear, pass something that gives these guys a streamlined or low cost permitting process like you do for homeowners who are installing solar panels in California. It's really not that different. And these are things that serve the public good. And, for every dollar that Electrify America saves permitting these sites, it's more sites that they can put in, which again serves the purpose of getting more electric vehicles on the road. So, I mean, I know that Gavin Newsom is something of Jerry Brown's protege. Well, if you believe in the same things too, and you believe that California needs to have mostly zero emission vehicles on the road in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, these sites need to go in fast and soon, because this is what's driving electric vehicle adoption in a lot of cases, is people recognizing that they have places to charge and the ability to travel and go places that they want to go. So I'd love to hear what you think about this. Am I being too harsh on the state of California for basically impeding the development of the electric vehicle charging infrastructure? Is it out of line to expect that these processes be streamlined, or that the permitting process be, I'll just say it, partially subsidized, because essentially it's money that's not going back to the state, but I mean, limiting the amount of fees that these public charging providers need to pay in order to permit their sites. I'm curious what you think, if you think it will help EV adoption. What are you seeing in your local states? If you're not in California, how quickly are these chargers going online there? If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. It helps me go explore and give you guys an idea of what's going on with the public charging infrastructure. And thank you for watching.